All right, everybody, it is Sunday Night Live on the Prepared Mind channel. Woo! It is the zoo, and I want to welcome all of you guys back to the show. We've got the preparedmind.club. We've got subscribestar.com. Let me say those again. The preparedmind.club. That is where you can sign up and be premium Monday through Friday. Same with subscribestar.com. It's a premium service, so you can be here Monday through Friday. Same broadcast. But on Sunday, right now, it is the club. It is Subscribestar. It is YouTube. It is Ooman on X. It is Facebook. It is Rumble. It is BitChute. It's every motherfucking social media you can imagine. And we're live right now. And you guys are absolutely 100% responsible for the condition I'm in. And you are also in charge of, well, not the format. The format is mine. You're in charge of the content of the show because it's the zoo. And it's all of us from all of social media focused right here, right now, live on the Prepared Mind channel, the Prepared Mind Network, all over the internet. Welcome one, welcome all. If you are not a subscriber, you've got to be a subscriber for 5 minutes. Then you can comment. If you want to get on the screen, for example, you want to be like Mr. Diving Frog here, and he's saying Trump seems like he's going to pardon Ghislaine. That guy needs a rope. If you've got something to say, super chat button right up there gets you on the screen down here. I'll make you famous. We'll talk about what you want to talk about. And literally, the bigger the super chat, the bigger, right? The better, bigger, more detailed answer I will give. Typically, we have a show. We have 2 hours worth of super chats. So I really have to regulate it that way. But what your money does, it just doesn't buy me a bunch of scotch. Well, it does pay for the scotch. And today, 14-year Glenlivet single malt scotch is the drink of the day. Anyone doing a $50 or more super chat buys a scotch, I drink on air, and we keep going with your question. All super chats add up, and they pay for servers, internet access, lighting, equipment, computers, subscriptions. We have a bunch of bills, and thankfully, and thank you all. You guys contribute through your super chats that show up. You contribute enough to help pay for the show, so I only have to work 2 jobs. I feel really bad that a lot of people out there work 2 jobs, 1 job at 60 hours a week. Some people work 3 or 4 jobs. In this economy, in this world, the world's greatest, right? The stock market's at an all-time high. But you can't afford to pay your fucking bills, feed your kids, put shoes on the little guys. What the hell is going on? That is part of our conversation. SHTF, shit hitting the fan, why you need to be prepared 100%. You need to be prepared 100%. What do I mean by that? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, meaning handgun, shotgun, rifle, whatever you can get your hands on, because you are there. There's this 10-mile circle around your house, your bunker, your bug-out zone, where you live. That is the world that can affect you in one day. If everything goes bad, fuel, electricity, law enforcement, whatever, right? That 10-mile radius is about how long it takes someone to walk from the edge to where you're at and make your life a fucking miserable hell. That's why you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Now, right now, Corey, the death of logic. I've got a very special message for you as well as others who know where the sun rises, the sun sets, and where the bear shits in the wood. Right? Right. So here I am, currently is setting in the east. No, wait, the west. Yeah, the sun is going down. It is Sunday Night Live. Right? The Sunday Night Live. Right? You make sure you keep the door barred and you get a Tyler at the door. Everything, folks. We're going to have a talk. Before we get into everything, we got Northern Hillbilly here, says bullets, beans, and bullion, boys. That's a lot of bees. Thank you. The unprepared mind. He's ready at 110%. We're going to have a great show. Now, a friend of mine promised me a very special treat if we top $500 in super chats tonight. We haven't done that in a long time. But this friend of mine said, look, if you can convince everyone to do super chats and break 500, I'll give you a special surprise. I don't know what the special surprise is going to be. I just thought I'd tell you, and I'll leave it at that. We're going to start the show off $50 super chat with Darcy T. Darcy T does a $50. That's 50. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep track. $50 super chat, and she's got a lot to say. She always does. Every week we start off with Chin Music and Darcy T. So, again, super chat buttons right up there. That's how you'll get on the screen down here. Down in the video description, you got a PayPal link, you got a CashApp link, and we've got a Venmo link. CashApp and Venmo come to me. PayPal goes directly to Jolene, the prepared mother. She's all the way on the West Coast. I'm in Florida. That's like East Coast. Doesn't matter. We'll get you taken care of one way or another, by hook or by crook. Now, as one last forewarning, I have been doing the Florida day drinking thing today. I am fucking 99% schnookered already. So everyone needs to understand that I am fully prepared. I have kept up with everything. We're going to talk about all the bullshit that's going on. It's up to you to get it on the screen down here, or leave it up to me. And I've got a ledger right here. So we're going to start off with this. Like I said, I'm fucking drunk as fuck already because it's Sunday. It's a nice day. It's Florida. I needed a fucking break. And anyways, I got a bunch of friends. They got a hold of me. Look out. But I'm here for you guys. And the topics are incredible. Not because of me, but because of the world out there. It is a screwy fucking world, guys. It's fucking nuts. Nobody makes sense. Washington, D.C. is retarded. The European Union's retarded. It's like, what? Aren't we supposed to be like the clear thinkers out there? The rational, logical thinkers? The critical thinking mind? The common sense mind? Isn't that supposed to be our culture, traditions, our government, us? Why are they so retarded? Oh, we're going to get into that. So I'm actually going to do something a little different than normal. I'm going to start off with Big Dan the Man and a $5 super chat donation. And he has a good Mark Twain quote. And Big Dan the Man says, here's the quote. The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. Now, Dan, that's right down the fucking middle. It's right down the pipe. In baseball, it's right in the middle. You can't miss it. Perfect sense. Logical. The truth the facts, the things that we see clearly. You and I, we see it clearly, right? It has no defense. You can't make the truth any stronger. You can't make it any clearer, any more easily understandable when you have a fool who is absolutely determined to disregard all intelligent thought and believe the lie he's been presented with. Now, Dan, you put Mark Twain's quote. I said Mark Twain's tote. Mark Twain's quote, and I elaborated on a little, but it is a truism. It's a truism. It truly is. It's a truism. The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. Thank you, sir. Big Dan the Man, always a great super chat, Prepared Mind channel supporter. Now, let me continue. There, at the top of your screen on your computer is an internet address. I need you guys to do me a big favor. If I'm going to hit this $500 super chat night, if we're going to get like 400 to 500 subscribers watching and tuning in, you have got to share the internet address with friends, family, co-workers, loved ones, even your enemies. I don't give a fuck. They all need to wake the hell up. Even if they don't agree with me half the time or even a quarter of the time, it doesn't matter. The message is clear. The world is going to shit. We need to be prepared. We need to get ready. We've got economic problems, military problems, educational problems, political problems, monetary problems, financial problems, trade relations problems galore, not to mention war. All right, let's do this. Let us continue. I see. We have Heidi has done a $50 super chat donation. Well, sorry, through CashApp. And that means I get a shot of scotch. Heidi, you're a very bad good friend for making sure that I stay 100% lit. Now, what happens typically when I'm drinking with you guys, and I only do this with you guys, and I only do this Sunday night, is the topic, the topics, the subject matter, the content of the show tends to keep my mind sober while the rest of me is receiving medicinal quality painkiller. Anyways, this also is a shot glass made, and I do not have Uman here today, by www.pewter.com, pewter.com. Oh, mama, I'm in trouble. Pewter.com. They've made me flasks with the Marine Corps emblem. If you are a Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army, or even Coast Guard or something else, check it out. Check them out. Great company. They're very generous. They have for years taken care of us. We're now over 200 people live. The show has started. Heidi, get me in the comments section, all caps, if you want to talk about something, or just say chef's choice, John. It's up to you. But anyways, $50 super chat from Heidi. Thank you, Heidi. Okay, we got a lot of people on here. Band again, Action Jackson. There's Heidi right there. BT, Viking, Mikey. Good golly, we got a great show building right now. Band again. Who's your daddy? We got a big show. Northern Hillbillies in. Action Jackson. What a great movie. Okay, let's do it, folks. Let's do it. I've got it, unfortunately, or fortunately rather, Darcy. Oh shit. Darcy T is checked in. Oh shit. There's another one. Darcy T has checked in with a $50 PayPal super chat donation, and that gets me another one. Now, I need $500 in super chats. I won't be able to keep up tonight. Uman's not here, sadly. I miss the man. He is doing a project that it blows me away. He's moving an entire industrial manufacturing facility from one location to another in an impossible to maintain time schedule, and the man is getting it done. So God bless him. Anyways, let's go with Darcy T. And we got more coming, folks. Oh, good golly, we got a hell of a show. All right, Darcy T. Woo! Oh, I'm in big trouble already. Darcy is just like everyone else. You guys, love you. You're taking care of me. Let's get the show on the road. Darcy says, good evening, John. We can all see that the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz was all part of a deliberate plan by the globalists to move their agenda forward. Globalist means not just America, not just Israel, not just Europe, but all of these rich bastards across the planet in banking, government, finance, corporations. They want to change the system. These people want a globalist system instead of a nationalist system. Nationalist meaning America's for America, Russia's for Russia, England's for England, Scotland's for Scotland, France is for France, Canada's for Canada, but we all cooperate. A globalist system ignores national boundaries. A globalist system enriches the banks, then corporations, and then government elected officials that are there with their fucking hands out to screw us over. Chelsea, get me your comments in all caps as well. Oh, you're right, Northern Hillbilly. I'm in big trouble. Anyways, let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. I do not have Uman tonight. He is working literally 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I don't have Jolene, the prepared mother, because of the same thing. We've got a lot going on. So, Chelsea, please get your comments all caps. Heidi, comments all caps. Let's go through Darcy T's $50 super chat. She says, we can all see the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz was all part of a deliberate plan by the globalists to move their agenda forward. How long do you, John, reckon they will let this charade go on before they finally tip their hand to the real agenda? Well, in my opinion, in my studied opinion, I study the political science. I study the economic science. I study what people need and do and what countries need, not just the economic situation so the government can lie to you about it, right? Everything matters. Thank you, Heidi. Heidi says chef's choice. Okay. We see what's going on. They're fucking everything up. The Strait of Hormuz, Darcy, was open. No fees, no restrictions, no violence, no problem, until Iran decided they were tired of listening to a bunch of shit from Israel. They're like, there's nothing else we can do. So Israel says, well, if you don't give us what we want, then we're going to bomb the shit out of you. So they did, with the United States of America backing Israel. And they started bombing the shit out of Iran. So Iran says, you know what? Fuck you. We're going to bomb Israel, and we're going to bomb all the U.S. allies that have U.S. military bases, which means Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and there's another couple little ones in there. Anyways, the problem is they're all getting the shit bombed at them. The whole region's fucked up, and Iran says, that's it. We're closing the Strait of Hormuz. Weeks later, they come up with a plan. Well, if you want oil, if you want gas, if you want helium, whatever you want to go through there, you're going to have to pay us a fee. And better yet, you're going to pay us a fee in Chinese currency, not the US dollar, not the British pound, not the European euro. No. You'll pay us the way we want, says Iran, or no go, no pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Trump says it's open. Iran says you're a liar. Ships try coming through. Iran bombs them. Companies, nations pay Iran their new fee. They sail through. They hit the U.S. blockade. The U.S. is like, nope, sorry. You don't get to come through. So they sneak around. It's a giant shit show. It's a giant shit show. Chelsea, I have your all caps comment. And we'll get to you shortly. Right. So you're saying the plan has been moved forward. You say, we see that this plan is moving forward. How long do I reckon they will let this charade go on before finally tipping their hand to the real agenda? In my opinion, they are not going to tell us, fuck you all in the Middle East, in Europe, in China, in Russia, the United States, Canada, Australia. You're all fucked. You're all part of our globalist scheme. They'll never admit that. Every country, whether it's the US or Canada, Australia or New Zealand, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, the European continent, it doesn't matter. China, Southeast Asia, they don't care. They'll never admit that they're fucking us over. Every region around the planet, every country, every political zone is going to be told the story that they need to hear in order for them to believe their government enough to continue to perform whatever production or rule or job you have and pay your fucking taxes. That's all they care about, is maintaining power and control, controlling the money, controlling the economy, controlling the people. They'll tell us whatever lie they need, Darcy. They don't care. They don't have to get all of us. They just have to get a vast majority of every country. So you say, how long do you reckon before they'll let this charade go on, before they finally tip their hand, reveal, expose their real agenda? Their real agenda is going to happen, whether we like it or not. You and I, you, the whole audience, you and I are prepared. We've watched, we've documented, we've stayed current. That's what this show is about, by the way, as well as food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and your means of self-defense. But it's watching what they do so we understand it. So we're not fooled. A Viking super chat. The super chat is the Prepared Mind on YouTube. That has only 5,170 subscribers. The YouTube channel that has 80,000 subscribers or 79,000, that one doesn't allow monetization. So you've got to go to the other, thepreparedmind.club YouTube. Okay. Because a lot of people get wrapped up. They get stuck on the wrong YouTube channel. They can't do super chats. Okay, let me continue with Darcy T's. They're blocking the strait. When are they going to tell us that they fucked us, and keep screwing us? They'll never say they fucked us. Everyone in China will believe China is getting the best deal. Everyone in the U.S. is going to be told you're getting the best deal. Everyone in the Middle East is going to be said, hey, the Middle East is protecting itself, and the people in Israel are going to believe they've won. Everyone's going to think they've won, or at least they've gotten out of there with the the skin on their hide, their back, right? Everyone's going to believe that we could have been worse. We did okay. That's the trick. That is the fucking trick that they pull, is that we're screwed. We're at war. The economy's crap. Inflation's nasty. The dollar's going down. But we want the people to stay calm. Don't get too upset, because we got this for you. And they'll take a steak from you, and they'll give you a fucking tater tot with some ketchup and go, that's a fair trade. It could be worse, damn it. You're lucky you got what you got. And that's how they do it every fucking time. In 1932, we had the start of the Great Depression, stock market crash, idiotic politics. Yeah, this is 1932. So the government says, hey, we're closing all the banks. It's a bank holiday. And people are like, what? Because they're used to dealing with cash, gold, silver coins for currency, checks for taking care of business, and the banks are closed. The government then says, turn in all of your gold. It is mandated. But don't worry, it's worth $20 an ounce, the gold. But we're going to give you, just for the sake of argument, $21. It was more like $20.50. They gave them a 5% premium on their gold. So the people turned their shit in. The banks opened. The next day, the government says gold is now worth $40 an ounce. Just throwing a number out there. I think it was 35. It went up. It was crazy. The people got fucked out of their gold, but they were given a premium. But then they were told everything's fine. The Great Depression that has just started is going to be over, even though it went on for another 10 years. The government always lies, gives you a fucking breadcrumb to keep you okay, and then they move on. All right, let's leave it at that. Good golly. Thank you, Darcy T. They're never going to tell us that they lied to us, fucked us over. They're always going to tell us it could have been a lot worse, but look what we gave you. And that's where we're at. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Chin Music, I know you're out there somewhere. Let's see, what do I have from you, man? I don't have anything from Chin Music quite yet. Okay, good deal. Okay, and Heidi has a $50 super chat. I'm going to hold off on that one for a moment, Heidi, because I'm going to go to Cottage Farm. I got to let the alcohol not go too fast. Cottage Farm checks in, $5 super chat donation. And she says, droughts have been declared across the nation, but haven't boo about data centers using, we haven't heard boo. We haven't heard shit. We haven't heard nothing. We haven't heard nada. Zip, zilch, zero, niente, nada, nine, nothing about data centers using a majority of it. This is a crazy situation that's developing. $5 super chat. Thank you, Cottage Farm. Data centers are gobbling up 2 resources and causing a myriad of problems. A data center is a building loaded with artificial intelligence, high capacity, high volume, high power computer chips. And all of our requests, all of our AI, all of our posts, everything that we do flows into these data centers, is crunched, encapsulated, combined, and they spit answers out to everyone. We didn't need this 5 years ago. We didn't need this 10 years ago. So what the fuck are they doing? They're building these data centers that consume enormous amounts of electricity, just like your computer requires electricity. Look, I've been to people's houses. I've been to their facilities where they have Bitcoin mining. They've got all of these computers in racks and racks and racks processing information to create a Bitcoin. It takes $100,000 in electricity to make a Bitcoin that is valued currently at $75,000. It is economically, financially, as a business model, a failure to keep trying to get Bitcoins. But these data centers also use incredible amounts of electricity to process the information and use their computer models to spit out what we want. Not only are they consuming electricity and driving up people's electric costs, companies like Palantir, Grok, Meta, Google, all of these AI companies sap information, things we want, things we're looking at, things we're thinking about. They're all studying us. And that too consumes energy out of the electrical grid. So they can learn about us, control us, manipulate us, fucking lie to us. And companies like Palantir are using it for military purposes. Oh, they'll target us. They'll target us. They're going to have to spend a fucking $1 million missile to kill me, to get me in the bunker. Maybe some other people don't only have to spend a $50,000 or $100,000 missile. But they're going to target us and fucking try and kill us and stop us. They need us to shut the fuck up. But right now, at this stage, of what Cottage Farm's talking about is they're using electricity, but to cool things off, right? You and me, we get cold. What do? We go jump in the river, paddle around, drink some alcohol. Everything's cool. Jump in the swimming pool, paddle around, drinking alcohol. Everything's cool. Go to the ocean, go to the Gulf. Everything's cool. Data centers consume water, use it to cool off their systems, and they just evaporate the water away. We have a drought in Florida. It's about to turn into a super drought. There's droughts all over the country, but guess what? They're controlling our fucking weather. Not by steering things super well, just in general. They just use all of these, folks, get this. You like your cell towers, right? Right? What are they telling us? We need 3G, 4G, 5G. Now we're going up to 6G. These are giant poles emitting hundreds of watts, megawatts, right? Remember when radio stations 50,000 megawatt flamethrower blasting music, for 100 miles. These cell towers are all like that also. They're shooting our atmosphere full of electricity. And it's dissipating clouds. It's fucking up the weather. And so we don't get the rain. On top of that, we get these AI data centers consuming our water way more than you or your house or your fucking neighborhood. They're sucking areas dry of water to cool their computers so they can give us bullshit artificial intelligence and steal information about us and process it. How much more powerful is your mind compared to a computer? I can think all day long. I don't need 10,000 gallons of water to cool my brain off. I need a couple of ice drinks and some shade and a fan, and I'm rocking and rolling. But computers, they sound really efficient. They can process all this data. They don't know shit. They consume electricity. They consume our water. They consume our time. And they want to consume our fucking lives by destroying us. Cottage Farm, yes, they're coming after us. And they're not our friends. They truly are not our friends. Okay, Heidi. Let's do this. I'm going to stick with the AI topic. Artificial intelligence, AI, folks, it's not reality. It's a giant facility that consumes electricity and water and steals it from the communities and causes community electrical prices to go up. It's not reality. It is an artificial computer understanding of what's going on. Minecraft, where our kids and grandkids, they build these little fake worlds on the computer, and it takes like 10 minutes to build a city. And in 20 minutes, they're fighting other countries. That's a fucking game. It's not reality. Artificial intelligence is not a reality. It's not how life really works. Right? Things such as war in Iran, it drains our stockpiles of bullets, missiles, bombs, jets, helicopters. It drains our stockpiles. In artificial intelligence and gaming, you can just build everything back up in no time. But in reality, it takes months and years. The U.S. has now started warning our European allies, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, telling them that there's going to be a long delays in weapon deliveries. But they can't tell them that, because then the world loses faith in the United States. They see that we're underprepared, understocked. We don't have the right materials, right? So they're lying to everyone, folks. But they're just saying, hey, we got some delivery delays, don't worry. But these delays aren't temporary. The world is not Minecraft. You need raw materials. You need the ability to take raw materials and refine them into finished products and then send them to manufacturing facilities to put them into production to create helicopters, bombs, missiles, rockets, guns, tanks, trucks, whatever, right? It takes time to take this and assemble it, and then delivery, right? You got to deliver it to where it's needed, right? It's a supply issue that encompasses raw materials and the calendar year. It takes years and not days. But we went into this fucking war at the behest of Israel because they were afraid that Iran will have a nuclear weapon within days, which they've been saying for 40 years. It's just bullshit. They just want to go to war with Iran, and they want to create their greater Israel project where they take over the Middle East and Israel, because God promised somebody 3,000 years ago. They think that is a bunch of Eastern Europeans who migrated in 1948 to Palestine, that they now own the entire fucking Middle East. It's crazy. So there's a big difference between the old school getting it done, a war economy, and this new artificial intelligence, give it to me now, like in Minecraft mentality. The United States government, which includes the president, Congress, the Pentagon, even the military-industrial complex, they've been operating in fucking fantasy land, not reality, fantasy land. As a consequence, we're not doing well with Iran. They're controlling and keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed. No bullshit speech from Trump or the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is going to change that. No artificial intelligence video or promotional bullshit is going to change the reality. Fantasy is different than reality. And I think we're starting to see how people believe that the fantasy was real. The perception was real. The perception was the United States can defeat anyone. The perception was Israel is what a bunch of badass tough dudes. No, they bombed the shit out of Iran, and Iran bombed the shit out of them back. Israel's out of missile defense equipment and supplies. Their Iron Dome. It is now an iron fucking toilet. And everything is hitting, right? It's a mess. I'm not happy with any of it. This is what's going on. In any event, thank you, Heidi, for your great support. Let's do this. Let us move on to, how about this? Blue Cord Devil with a $50 super chat donation. I'm telling you, I came into the show 3/4 lit, and I ain't going to leave in any better shape. Once again, I got another, let's just say, subscriber saying if we hit $500 on super chats, that thank you, Squirrel. Squirrel delivered some pizza. Trying to keep me from losing my fucking mind. All right. I'm going to let that cool off. Very delicious pizza. Anyways, where was I at? Oh, yeah. $500 super chat, and I get to I get a special prize, which I still don't know the details on. But Blue Cord Devil's making it happen. $50 super chat says, just heard that Wally World, which means Walmart, Wally World no longer has price tags on the shelves. You have to wait until you check out to see how much you're paying so they can adjust the price due to inflation. That is quite interesting, is it not? You can't see the price before you get to the checkout? How does that work? Well, I'll tell you the way that works. Blue Cord Devil, thank you, sir. Woo! Oh, pizza and a scotch. Look out. Okay. It used to be you and I would go to the store. We'd walk down the aisle. You got Duncan Hines, Betty Crocker. You've got all of these brand names, and you get to choose from them. What do you choose on? You choose on based on quality, preference, price. You need to know what shit costs. That's how we used to shop. If you didn't have the money, you wouldn't buy this product or that product. You'd only buy the things you need. They have now got all of us behind the fucking 8-ball, Blue Cord, to where you go to the store, and even if you show up going, I'm not going to buy this junk food, that junk food, anything. I'm only going to buy what I need. And you still don't get to know the price because you're going to fucking pay. You're going to pay. Come hell or high water, whether you like it or not, by hook or by crook, you're going home with what you have to have, and they don't care what you think of the price. And that price is being determined by Walmart. And Walmart's price is being determined by China. And China's price is being determined by how much it costs them to manufacture, from raw materials to production to fabrication, assembly, shipping, and getting it over to America, plus the tariffs. So you can see why they're having a hard time keeping up with giving you a fucking price. So instead of you going into a store, your Piggly Wiggly, your Kroger, your Safeway, your Albertsons, your Publix, your Aldi, whatever the fuck it is you go shopping for food at, you go to show up. And you're not going to buy ice cream. You're not going to buy a delicious bottle of wine. You're going to buy the things you need to buy. You put them in your shopping cart and you go up to the front and you check out. And you pay what they tell you you have to fucking pay. You don't have any choice. You're already at Walmart. You're already buying the cheapest shit known to man. The food you get from Walmart's hardly food. Hardly any nutritional value. But that's all you can afford. So you're going to pay. This is where they got us now. You'll own nothing and be happy. You'll pay what we ask because you don't have a fucking choice. That's where we're at. Inflation is going to go off the fucking hook. Get prepared, folks. Get prepared. This weekend, I went in the back of the prepared bunker, and I went and I got all the canned food that needs to be recycled out of there and be put on it needs to be eaten or disposed of, whatever. It needs to be eaten and disposed of, because I have to replace it. By having food today, I've told people this for years, you may not have money to buy gold and silver, but if you buy food, more food than you need, and you start stockpiling food that has a long shelf life, has decent or good or great nutritional value, in 2 months, in 6 months, in a year, the price is going to go up so high that, for example, a can of baked beans, it goes from being $1.25 to $2, or say $1.25 to $2.50. It doubles in price. That's 100% markup. But if you've already bought that can of pork and beans and it's sitting on your shelf, and the price doubles in the next year, you have a 100% return on investment valuation to that can of pork and beans, or baked beans, or whatever the fuck beans you get. What I'm saying is that becomes an investment that saves you money in the future. Prepping is investing. It's investing in your safety. It's investing in your health. It's investing in your world that you're living in, the real world, not artificial intelligence, not Minecraft, not fucking Mario Brothers, not some bullshit. It's the real world where you wake up from sleeping, you eat, you drink, you defend yourself, you try and keep your head above water and pay your bills. That's the world we're now in. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Inflation is going to eat up people's money. Now, for those of you on the channel who have enough money to pay your bills, buy food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, so you're all prepared and you want to buy gold and silver, between January of last year and January of this year, silver went up 400%. That's even better than barbecued beans at 100%. Right? Gold is going to go up. Silver is going to keep going up big time. Food is going to go up big time. Gas is going to go up big time. The key for you and me, that's right, us. The key for you and me is to be and stay prepared. Not just food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Not just radio communications, solar power, not just those things, but also understanding the world around us. Not just Washington, D.C., or Tel Aviv, or Tehran, or Brussels, Europe. Understanding the world around you. Who do you live by? Who are they? What's on their mind? Have they lost their fucking minds? Do you live in a good area? Do you have a lot of water or other natural resources? Are you going to freeze to death in the winter? Are you going to bake to death in the summer? Can you handle yourself if the entire system fails? Pretty important questions, don't you think? All right. Let us continue. And now we move on to Chelsea and husband. Chelsea did a $50 Venmo super chat donation, which means another 14 years single malt Glenlivet Scotch right here. Folks, the price of Scotch is going nuts, even in Florida. Doesn't matter where you're at. The powers that be are sticking it to us, literally. They're sticking it to us. Anyways, Chelsea and husband, thank you. It's going to be a rough day tomorrow. This is what Chelsea's talking about. Okay. She says, hey, they made their trip to Florida. Our trip to Florida was amazing. We didn't want to leave. I don't blame you. I came here, Florida, the first time to the fun zone, not Orlando, which is the nightmare vacation zone with family and kids. But I came to the West Coast. I didn't want to leave, but here I am. So Chelsea says, Floridians know how to party. That's why I'm in so much trouble today. Yes. Floridians know how to relax, have a good time, party. They also know, folks, how to work. They know what's important. They know how to be prepared. But just like the rest of the country, it's a panoramic view, the entire spectrum, rather, of people that are fully prepared, not prepared at all, and everything in between. There's decent politicians here, decent law enforcement here, and some of the worst politicians and some of the worst law enforcement. Anyways, Chelsea says, topic of your choice. Cheers. Let's get John to $500, y'all. I'd like to know what that $500 super chat prize is all about. If I can get to $500 of super chats, and this friend of mine, or rather show sponsor, is keeping track of all the numbers I throw out. Anyways, we're also, speaking of numbers, at 250 people live. If you want to comment, you've got to be a subscriber for 5 minutes. You can't comment unless you're a subscriber for 5 minutes or more. I want to get this number right here, 250. It's on my screen. 250 people live. We need to get that way up higher. So share the internet address. Share it. Friends, family, loved ones. Get it done. And now let's get into Chelsea's topic, which she says is a topic of my choice. So let's do this. Let me see what I've got here. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's follow up on an old story, a.k.a. circle back. We're going to circle back on the Ku Klux Klan robe and hat, the white pointy hat. Somebody in Rhode Island, a small city in Rhode Island, and Rhode Island's a small, shitty little state. 2 Democrat teen brothers have been busted. They've been identified. They've been caught as the 2 involved in this 2 a.m. wearing of a Ku Klux Klan outfit, a white sheet and a white hat, because it sparked national outrage. Yeah, it turns out it was a hoax perpetrated by 2 Democrat teen brothers. I read this ridiculous headline. Ridiculous. National outrage? Really? Did you hear national outrage? I didn't hear any national outrage. I heard a lot of people laughing. National outrage? Fuck off, mainstream media. We had Antifa communists. We had BLM, Black Lives Matter racists burning America. $4.5 billion in damage. Was there national outrage from the media? Was there national outrage from Washington, D.C.? No. No. Back in 2020, the summer of love, the Democrats allowed it. The locals, the state, the national Democrats, fucking Camel Toes Harris was making deals with police departments, with district attorneys, with attorney generals, saying just let them go, and encouraging people to get out of jail and go right back and cause more fucking trouble. BLM was more than just burning America. It was burning, looting, murdering. Burning, looting, murdering. BLM. They were literally looting stores. They were burning stores, burning police stations, burning cars, burning private houses, burning courthouses, burning businesses, destroying fucking cities, scaring people to death, beating people, murdering people. Remember Kyle Rittenhouse? That's where the term fuck around, find out really got some traction, because he was getting chased by not 1, not 2, but 3 of these Antifa BLM fucks, threatening to kill him. One even pulled a fucking 9mm on him, and he blew his fucking arm off with his AR-15. Kyle did to this fucking punk. They were all pedophiles, criminals, Democrats. And we're supposed to believe that at 2 a.m, 2 idiot Democrats playing a fucking hoax on the world dressed one of them up in a Ku Klux Klan outfit and walked down the street. No one got beaten. 2 a.m. No businesses were vandalized. No businesses were looted at 2 a.m. by one fucking clown wearing a sheet and a fucking pillowcase on his head. No one was murdered. No burning, no looting, no murdering. One night, 2 a.m., walk down the street, take a few pictures, put them on the internet to rile people up, and we're supposed to believe that there's national outrage? Give me a motherfucking break. This is the world we live in, folks. That's a national outrage. They were up north. They were in Rhode fucking Island. I crap bigger than Rhode Island. It's not down in the south where you got to worry about some fucking crazy swamp billy or hillbilly putting on a Klan fucking outfit and going out and apparently trying to what? Lynch somebody he don't like? That's not happening. It didn't happen. But we're supposed to say that's national outrage. I heard no outrage. What I did here was an awful lot of fucking giggles about them being terrible racists compared to how mainstream media hosts push anti-whiteism, anti-Christianity, anti-man, anti-husband, anti-masculinity. That's fucking damaging. Anti-woman, anti-mother, anti-girl. That's fucking outrageous. That is a national outrage what the mainstream media is doing to girls, women, men, fathers, Christians, American culture. They're not going to rile me up with some fucking clown wearing some sheets like a fucking ghost. Give me a fucking break. But folks, that's what they're pushing for. Remember, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a legal organization run by mainly black people, have been paying money to white supremacist groups trying to build up white supremacy so then they could point at it and go, look at that group over there. They're causing trouble. White supremacy bad. Give us even more money to the SPLC and the ACLU and the Anti-Defamation League, because the Jews are definitely worried about something. It don't matter. They're always afraid that they're going to get wiped out, even though there were more Jews after World War II than there were at the beginning of World War II, even though we're supposedly lost 6 million of them to the Holocaust. In other words, folks, the whole thing is a lie. It is propaganda. It is designed to control what you see and hear so they know how you should be thinking. That is mind control. That is what government does now. That's what they want to do. They want to control our thoughts, control our perspective, control our belief systems. And if you allow them to do that for you, you're a fucking sheep. If you think for yourself, if you examine information not from one perspective, but from multiple perspectives, you'll get a much better understanding of what the hell's going on. And that's what we do right here on this channel. We talk about what is happening out there. We ignore the mainstream narrative, which is also the government narrative, which is also the Israeli narrative, which is also the European Union narrative. And we study for ourselves what the fuck is going on, get prepared, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. So when shit goes down and gets really bad, at the very least, while you may be suffering with everyone else, at least you've got the ability to keep yourself alive and you know what's going on. So you're not confused. Yeah, things have gone to shit like they did in 2020, but you knew who the bad guys were. You knew BLM were a bunch of fucking racist piles of shit backed up by Antifa, a bunch of communist pieces of college shit being paid for by Soros and other NGOs, non-government organizations. Meanwhile, we're being invaded by illegal aliens being funneled through Mexico, from Mexico, Central America, South America, Western Africa, Northern Africa, the fucking Far East, Pakistan, India. They're sending all their fucking shit people over from there who don't have jobs, lives, careers, or skills, sending them here and telling us they're fucking engineers, doctors, and scientists. So you know all that. You're not surprised. But the average Joe in your neighborhood, my neighborhood, that 10 miles around us, most of them are fucking completely ignorant. And so they're going to get caught off guard. They're not going to know shit. They're going to panic. They're going to be hungry, worried, sick. They won't sleep. Now, I'm not telling you we're going to have a party and it's going to be Shangri-La for preppers, but you will have a leg up because you've got what you need to get by and an understanding. You have reality on your side, not, but I thought everything was great. I thought we were winning in Iran and we defeated this and we did all these things. How come we're getting fucked over? Because they've been feeding you lies. Chelsea, thank you so much for supporting the great channel. Great $50 super chat. Let us continue. Let's move on, if we shall, to Viking with a $20 super chat donation. And he says, Trump only has until Memorial Day to wipe out the Iranian National Guard. Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, because if high gas prices drag on through the summer, he'll lose the midterms. If he succeeds in defeating the Iranian super duper National Guard military, gas will go down to $1.50 a gallon. Interesting observation and opinion, Mr. Viking. Number one, thank you for the great $20 super chat. You're here every week and sharing your ideas, concepts, thoughts, and perspectives, and I really appreciate that. But here we go. Let's get into this. He has until Memorial Day. Other people have argued he has until August, because then you got September, October, November. November is when we vote, and the midterms is Congress and the Senate. And if Trump doesn't clean this mess up, and I agree with you, Viking, if he doesn't clean all this fucking mess up in the war, satisfy, placate our enemies, satisfy, placate us, Americans, Canadians, Europeans, that everything's fine, we're not going to have hyperinflation, the economy's good, banking's good, monetary system good, finance good, our retirements are fine. If he doesn't do all that, if he doesn't hammer it down, and I mean hammer, and put everything down on the floor, he's going to lose the midterms. What that means, or what I'm saying, or what you're saying, is when he loses the midterms, the Republicans lose control in the United States of America of the House of Representatives and the Senate. If Trump fucking screws the pooch on this, and as far as I'm concerned, Viking, he is fucking the pooch up, and not in a good way. He's screwing the pooch. It was supposed to be a 1, 2, 3 day deal with Iran. We're in 2 months plus. We're supposed to believe retarded, moronic, towel-headed, goat-fucking Iranians, and we'll defeat them. This isn't the Taliban. This isn't even Iraq and Saddam Hussein. This is Iran. They are not Arabs. They are Persians. Yes, there's Islam there, and the Islamic militant religious regime controls the country, but the people of Iran are very intelligent, and they're an ancient people, an ancient civilization, the Persians, who have been around for thousands and thousands of years. Unlike the Israelis, who aren't the original Semites. The Israelis are a bunch of European gypsy Jews who have been bouncing around Europe for the last 1,200 fucking years. It's not a civilization and a people and a nation that's embedded. Iran, on the other hand, is an ancient people who have been in that area of the world that we call Iran. These Persians have been there for thousands of years, and they love their land, their culture, and everything else. And they've been fighting to keep that. And I've known a lot of Iranians. I think they're fucking marvelous people. They call themselves Persians. I call them Persians to their face. That's what they are. They're Persians living in the country of Iran, which is the new name for an ancient country and civilization. They're very smart. They're not inbred. They're not Arabs. They're Persians. They have a military. They've been planning and living with full-on 100% American sanctions since Carter was president. And a lot of you weren't even fucking born when Carter was president. Right? You have to be older than 46 years. And I know a lot of you are, just like me, to know what it was like with Carter as president. But Iran, lost control of itself and was taken over by a radical, religious, Islamic controlled government. But the people are still there, and they've been operating economically, socially, politically, without the ability to use the American SWIFT payment system, which is basically MasterCard for a country, All the countries pay themselves to America, and America pays them through the SWIFT system. It's like our fucking bank. You write a check, it goes, it gets cleared, the money gets sent around. Iran hasn't had that benefit since 1980. And it's 2026. 45 fucking years. They don't need us now any more than they needed us last year, 5 years, 10, 15, 20. They've been preparing for this war with Israel, who for the last 40 fucking years has said Iran's trying to build a nuclear weapon and they're going to have one in a couple months. Literally, I've been following this, folks. When my sons, who are now in their 20s, I have 2 grandsons. My sons are in their 20s with 2 grandsons. When they were babies, itty bitty babies, I was reading about Iran having a nuclear weapon any day now. So Trump has to somehow get out of this situation. Somehow he's got to get out of this situation. Somehow he's got to defeat or make Iran say, okay, no more war. And somehow fix the oil delivery system that's completely fucking broke. And hope inflation isn't so bad, or yes, he'll lose the midterms to the Democrats in the United States of America. You're saying if he succeeds, we'll go down to $1.50 a gallon. Here's the problem with that. Iran isn't quitting. Iran's not surrendering. Iran is not in trouble. We've got 280 people live here. I want over 400. Please share the internet address. Share it with friends, family, text, email, carrier pigeon, flame and arrow. Let it go. Well, no flame and arrows, folks. Yeah. Tell people to watch this show. It's going to get even better. We got a lot to talk about. If Trump succeeds, we'll never get to $1.50. This is where we disagree, Mr. Viking. And I'll tell you why I think we disagree. Prior to the Iran war, when the Strait of Hormuz was open, no fees, no problems, no bombs, no mines, no missiles, we were paying, where I'm at, $3 a gallon. Now I'm paying $4.50, closing in on $5 a gallon, where I'm at. But we were well above $2. I don't know how we can get down to $1.50 by getting out of the war. The reason I say that is Iran is saying no matter what, no more Israeli ships will ever come through the Strait of Hormuz, period. American ships or any other country, any country is going to have to pay Iran $1 million fee to come through the Strait of Hormuz unmolested. That is going to raise the cost of crude oil, not reduce it. As a consequence, oil coming out of the Strait of Hormuz is going to cost more, not less. Even if the war is over, it's going to cost more. So if we're lucky, I think we'll get back to where we were before Trump decided to be Netanyahu of Israel's bitch. That's the best I can hope for, is to get back to $3 a gallon oil. Now, if we kind of bounce over to Darcy T's thought, is this is all a big ruse, it's all a big scam. The purpose is to create a new economic, monetary, financial, and legal system for international trade around the world that benefits the international banking cartels, international corporations, and forces nations to bend the will of these banking and financial systems. That's what they want to do. This idea of a nationalist America that takes care of America, and a nationalist England, and a nationalist Germany, and a nationalist China, and Japan, and Canada, and Australia. The New World Order, the World Economic Forum, the World Jewish Congress, the Bilderberg Group, the Illuminati, in other words. These extremely powerful, wealthy bastards that also like to rape children. Don't forget the Epstein files. They do not want you and me to have $1.50 a gallon oil or gasoline. The reason is that gives me and you a standard of living that's higher. See, fuel is directly connected to standard of living. If fuel goes up, standard of living drops down because things are more expensive. It costs more to go to work. It costs more to go on vacation. It costs more just to live. Whereas if things are more expensive, you have less money for vacation and fun and lifestyle in your house. As costs go up, standard of living goes down. So that's why cheap oil, cheap gas is so important, because as it comes down, our standard of living goes up. Canada, my friend, your oil sands up there in Canada can be refined. You guys have got a shit pile of it. Canada should be fine. The problem with Canada is Canadian government, and it's socialist, and it's fucking you over. Fucking awful. You know what they pay, by the way? One last thing. You know what they pay for gasoline in Iran? Are you ready? Think about it. Iran has lots of oil. Iran has, I think, 15 million people living there, approximately. Iran only has Russia and China as allies. But somehow, Iran has oil, pumps oil, delivers oil to refineries, refines the oil, sells oil to its allies, China and Russia, and they still have enough oil left over to sell to their own people. And guess how much they charge? This is gonna make you shit your pants. 12 cents a gallon. You heard me right. Iran's people pay 12 cents a gallon for gas. They're at war with America. They are completely cut off of the rest of the world for trade. They have two major allies to work with, Russia and China. And Russia is a massive oil-producing country. They can produce oil for their own people, 12 cents a gallon, meaning their standard of living based on cost of energy, cost of living is very high. Their problem is, who else can they trade with? China has become an industrial manufacturing powerhouse. Everything from a widget, a toy, electronics, all the way up to EVs, cars, airplanes, high technology, computers. So Iran can get everything it needs, and the people pay this for fuel. Unbelievable. We pay right now 30 to 40 times more per gallon of fuel than the Iranian Persian people. They're going to make it through this. They're already suffering. They've been suffering. They get it. But guess what? We're getting fucked by our own governments. Literally screwed over. All right. We got a lot to talk about. Where are we at? Holy crap. We're an hour and 15 minutes into this Sunday Night Live. We're at 275 people live. I want to go way over 300, folks. Share, email, text, message, everywhere. The Prepared Mind. This is going to be a huge fucking week coming up right now, this week, in the United States of America, around the world. It's coming. Let's do some more super chats. Super chat button up there gets you on screen, just like Big Dan, the man here. Your super chat donations buy, well, scotch. They buy Spam. They buy beans, rice. They buy tuna fish. And I need you guys to do the same for yourselves, because I foresee an increase in the cost of everything. Big time. Unless Trump can pull off a miracle, and we're still going to have hard times because of what they've done to our economy, our financial system, and our monetary systems. The U.S. dollar is no longer wanted and loved by China, Russia had all of theirs confiscated. Iran didn't. The OPEC nations, like Qatar, like Bahrain, like the United Arab Emirates, like Saudi Arabia, these OPEC nations, they don't want dollars anymore. You know what they want? Gold. Or they want yuan from China, because the yuan from China are backed by gold. They can get paid in yuan, go over to Shanghai, get gold, take it back. The U.S. just says, oh, we need more money. Shit, we're out of money. Fuck it. Print it. Send it over. No consequence, backed by absolutely nothing. So, Big Dan, $10 super chat, says the problems in the Middle East forever are no desire to move forward from their old, outdated beliefs. They cannot be a good, civilized, modern country like the majority of other prosperous countries. This is a blanket statement by Mr. Erickson, and let's get into it. The Middle East is inhabited by Muslims. Now, there's two types of Muslims, in my opinion. Are you ready to hear the difference, the distinction? You have the common ones, and you have those in charge of the countries with power, the princes, the sultans, the rich, whatever. They don't care about Christianity. They're so fucking rich. What do they care about Christian? What do they care about Islam? What do they care about Muslims? What do they care about Muhammad? What do they care about the Quran? They don't give a fuck. These rich Saudis, Kuwaitis, Bahrainians, the Emirates, they don't care. They'll get drunk all they want. They'll fuck hookers all they want. They'll have 10 wives, 100 wives. They don't care. They don't care. But who do you and I get in Canada, in England, in Australia or Europe? What do we get? We get these low IQ, inbred, undernourished, underdeveloped, undereducated, non-educated fucking retards. And by retards, I mean retards. And they send them from their countries. Also Syria, Libya, Morocco, Tunisia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, every fucked up country in the world, they go to the nearest non-government organization being directed by Israel and the Vatican to send their pieces of shit into Europe and over to Canada and Mexico. I'm sorry, the United States of America. And they sneak into Mexico and come into America. Also Australia, New Zealand, and Japan, right? They send us their retards. They're not engineers. They're not doctors. They're not scientists. They're stupid motherfuckers. They're outdated beliefs that if you're not a Muslim, they can rape you. If you're not a Muslim, they can kill you. If you're not a Muslim, they can steal your house, steal your car. Whatever they want. They can burn things. Just this weekend alone, I saw a bunch more articles. People being assaulted. A girl had her fucking throat slit open, wide open, bled out on the street. The media refused to put a picture of the guy, say his name, or identify who he is as an illegal or not. He is a Muslim, an illegal piece of shit. And that's what they're doing. So we get to this part of your statement, Mr. Erickson. They cannot be a good, civilized, modern country. And guess what? The people that are in charge of Europe, England, Canada, America, Australia, they want these fucking people in our countries. So you and I have to fight them instead of fighting our government. Little they know we can do both. But they want these people in our faces, threatening our daughters, our sons, our wives, and our lives. They want us ruining our business, destroying our fucking cities, consuming all of our excess wealth, our social services, our hospitals, our housing. It's called replacement theory, and it's part of the World Economic Forum. It's part of the United Nations. It's part of the Illuminati's plan to fuck us up, destroy our national identity, our cultures, traditions, and laws, so they can replace it with their new world order, globalist agenda, where the banks and corporations enrich themselves while controlling local politicians with chicken shit bribes and promises. And that's why your local, your state or provincial government is worthless. Your national legislatures and presidents or prime ministers and even your courts are fucking worthless. They're letting criminals back out who instantly go out and rape and murder more people. Or politicians like our jackasses in Washington, that's Senator Thune, who is undoubtedly the type of guy who makes a living on the weekend sucking dick at the fucking Greyhound bus station in the men's bathrooms. People like that won't pass the laws to protect our country and get these pieces of shit out. That's where we're at. So this idea of prosperous countries, Dan, they don't want us to be prosperous. They want us to be shit. And so they've imported shit from these outdated belief-holding piece of shit Muslim countries. And you know who benefits? Israel. Israel benefits. Our so-called political leadership benefits. The banks benefit. The corporations benefit. The military-industrial complex, military hardware suppliers benefit because they get their forever wars and their debt financing, and the banks get to fucking screw everyone over, and the taxes go from me and you creating any wealth possible to the government, who then hand it over to the banks. The United States of America now is spending more money on an annual basis than they take in tax revenue. You know what that means? We're not just fucking upside down and dead broke. We're insolvent. Insolvent. Get ready. It is going to be a fucking nightmare. Now, the unprepared mind has done a super chat message, so I am going to look for it. There it is. He says, broke stacker, this is true. The other side of the coin is how much does it cost to get out of the ground? I work in production in the Permian Basin. I don't know if that's what he wanted to talk about, but let's see if we go back up here. The unprepared mind. There we go. Okay, I sent a message in the chats. Now I'm good. Everyone hang on. I'm looking for the unprepared mind. Unless I'm supposed to go back up and find it above his comment. Everyone hang tight. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm just not seeing it, amigo. So I'm going back up above where you're at. There we are. How is it that so many law enforcement who have sworn an oath to this nation can protect the criminal politicians when it's so blatant? Are they bought off too? A lot of you may not like this answer, but I'm going to give it to you straight. Because I've talked to a lot of law enforcement on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and not in America, on the continent. I've talked to law enforcement from everywhere. And I try to have candid conversations. I try to address this very topic without being insulting or upsetting them in such a way that they want to give me a hard time, right? I want to approach them, discuss things with them, have a couple of laughs, and leave. That's my approach. Because I don't want them going, well, who are you? Give me your fucking name, give me your ID, and play that fucking game, okay? So you say, yes, in America, how is it that sheriffs and police, state troopers, whatever, even federal agents, swear an oath to the nation? Well, they don't swear an oath to the nation. They swear an oath to the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. They put their hand one in the air, symbolically place their hand on the Bible. I think everyone knows this position. And you swear an oath to God Almighty that you will defend and protect, uphold the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You'll obey the orders of blah, 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 whatever political leaders you have, right? So how do they do that and then turn around and protect the criminal politicians? Well, you see, they're there for a job. When I joined the military as a United States Marine, to become a United States Marine, I was perfectly clear up here. When I said, I promise to obey the orders, and that meant lawful orders of the President of the United States, and that I was going to serve and protect the people of the United States and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, I fucking meant it. Law enforcement today, a great many of them mean it. They are here because they want peace, tranquility, and safety in their communities. Yet, how is it then that law enforcement, if they'll even arrest these piece of shit foreigners, these piece of shit criminals on the street, these fucking drug dealers and rapists, these fucking scumbags, they arrest them, then the prosecutor, the district attorney doesn't press charges, or the judge just lets them go. Law enforcement's like, whatever. And then the politicians that are lying, fucking cheating, embezzling, committing fraud, stealing our fucking money, they let them get away with it. What this country has gone through and now realizes is that there is no mechanism in place that is being enforced. And that's the important part. No, the mechanism that exists is not being enforced. So we have basically a top-down system that looks from the top down in America. You've got city, county, state, federal. If someone at the city is fucking up, the chief of police, the city attorney, the mayor, the city council, if they're fucking up, the city policeman, the chief of police should send his police and arrest these motherfuckers. But the chief of police sits in his job at the pleasure of the mayor who appoints him or the city council that appoints him. So that doesn't serve me and you very well, does it? Because he's trying to keep these politicians happy who are busy fucking us over, so he needs to, well, have the police leave him alone. In the county, the highest law enforcement period is the sheriff. Why isn't the sheriff realizing how fucked up the cities are and the police departments and going in and arresting mayors, city council, police chiefs, and the police department? They should be doing that. The mechanism and the system exists to do that, Mr. Unprepared Mind. By the way, he did a $19.99 super chat donation. Thank you, sir. I need super chat donations to keep the lights on, keep myself fed, and keep myself at 2 jobs. So let me continue with this. The mechanism exists. If the chief of police and the sheriff's department won't enforce the law and arrest the criminals at the local, county, or even state level, if they don't do that, then the fraud, the corruption, the theft, the drug dealing, the prostitution, the racketeering, the extortion, the bribery exists. And it won't stop. Now, when I left, or before I left Northern California, extreme Northern California, rural extreme Northern California, I told you guys a story. I was driving through my town. I went from one end to the other, taking the little back roads, just, winding my way through town, and I looked and I saw, what the hell? A sheriff's department from that county, a sheriff's department from Shasta County, a sheriff's department from Yolo County, a sheriff's department from Lassen County, a sheriff's department from Humboldt County. There were 6 different fucking counties making drug busts throughout this town. I thought, well, that's good news. Good to see. Finally, fucking drug dealers all over the place getting taken out. So I get back to work the next day. And I call my finish carpenter guy that does specialized finish work for me. And I say, Tom, did you see what was going on yesterday? And Tom says, yeah, crazy, huh? Across the street from my house, says Tom, they arrested the guy all day long. Cars in, cars out, cars in, cars out, cars in, cars out of his driveway, selling drugs. The police pulled in, knocked on the door, put cuffs on that motherfucker, hauled him to the county clink. I said, good, Tom, I'm glad you saw that. He said, but the bad news is, by the end of the day, that motherfucker was out of jail, back in his house, and today, he tells me, the next day, while we're talking, he says it's already started. He's dealing drugs. Cars in, cars out, cars in, cars out, cars in, cars out. The guy got arrested, went to jail, was released, and is already dealing drugs just like before. You know what the fucking upshot is? I'll tell you. The upshot is the police are on the fucking take. Law enforcement, district attorney, fucking judges. They're all in on the fucking corruption. Even at the fucking city and county level, these motherfuckers are taking money from drug dealing and getting their cut. They're all getting paid off and bribed. I'm telling you what, folks, I had to deal with fucking local tax collector. You know what he was doing? For people who didn't pay their fucking property tax out in rural areas, farmland, they're like, you lost your fucking property. We're now going to auction it off because you didn't pay your property tax. And you know what? Nobody else knew about it. I never fucking heard about it. Other people I knew never heard about it. You know who was buying the fucking land that was put up for auction, that was being confiscated by the fucking government and the tax collector's office? None other than the fucking tax collector himself. He, the tax collector, is buying up tax sale property in the fucking county so he can increase his farm, increase his money, and buy fucking land for pennies on the fucking dollar. That's how government works. That's why. You look at law enforcement and go, they're supposed to have fucking taken an oath. They don't give a fuck about the oath. They do enough of their job to justify keeping their job, keeping their paycheck, not getting fired, and make sure that they continue to get elected or appointed. The chief of police will just do what he takes to make sure the mayor loves him. The city council loves him. He couldn't give a fuck about the people. He wants his police to make sure he gets his fucking kickdowns from the drug dealers, from the prostitution, and whatever other dirty fucking deeds they're doing. Same with the sheriff's offices. I'm not saying all sheriffs are crooked. I'm not saying all chiefs of police are crooked. I'm not saying all law enforcement are crooked. I'm saying a good fucking percentage of them are, because it's evident when you and I look and see everything going on all the way up to the federal level, and they're just getting away with it. We have young men taking cameras and going to the Leering Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and saying, where's all the kids? You guys get $5 million a year. Where's the kids in your learning center that you spelled Leering Center? And it turns out it's a completely fraudulent fucking institution. Not just that one, but hundreds of them are just stealing money. And the government does nothing. Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. The federals, the local, the state, nothing. Finally, some of the federal government is arresting people. Finally. You know why? I'll tell you why. You're going to fucking love this. You know why the federal government is doing something? Because they're not getting a fucking piece of the action. The FBI is not getting any money from the Leering Center or any of the other Somali bullshit thieves in Minnesota or Maine or Illinois or fucking California or Washington or Oregon or fucking any state, period. They're not getting a kickback. You're getting arrested. You're getting deported. Yes, I want them arrested. Yes, I want them deported. Yes, I want the money to stop going to these fraudulent motherfuckers. But the reason law enforcement is doing their job, is because we're watching, we're talking about it, and they're not getting a fucking kickback. Dan Bongino, some kind of tough motherfucker, right? Secret Service, I'm Dan Bongino, right? I'm gonna go into the FBI and I'm gonna get all of those Epstein people, and it's gonna be a great country again. He gets brought in. All he does is make excuses and protect pedophiles at the federal level, and then tell us we're fucking stupid because we don't understand how hard his job is. Let's see. I pick up the fucking piece of paper and I look at it. And I'm like, hey, look at that. All these rich motherfuckers in the banking, finance, and government that are raping children, killing children, dismembering children, hunting children, fucking eating children. They got all the fucking paperwork. And what are they doing? Nothing. Why? Because Dan Bongino got paid. And once you're in law enforcement and you get paid, you don't give a fuck. Pam Bondi, 10,000 files, videos of children getting raped by all these rich men. She does nothing. She fucking hides and then she fucking lies about it. She should be in prison. Unbelievable. I'm going to get off this fucking horse and continue. We've now got Broke Stacker with a $9.99 Super Chat donation. Super Chat buttons up there or down in the video description is Venmo, CashApp, PayPal. And you guys, you get to pick the topics, and we're doing a hell of a job of it today. We're past the 90-minute mark. We're going to go to 2 hours, and my voice is doing pretty good. Getting better by the day. Taking 10,000 units of fucking vitamin C and a number of other things, but kicking its ass. You guys fucking scumbags. You can't kill me that easy out there. You know who you are. Anyways, we got a lot to talk about. I'll stay here as long as we got super chats to go with. This topic here is from Broke Stacker with a $9.99 super chat donation. From here, gets you down here. He says, let's just break it down to the true evil here. There is more than enough oil on this planet to power it for 10,000 years. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you. They make it scarce to control everything and justify endless wars. Love y'all. They pretend it's scarce. OPEC, the oil-producing exporting countries, that's what OPEC stands for, is a cartel that was started after President Nixon of the United States took the United States of America off the gold standard because the United States of America, throughout the early 70s and back into the 60s, was printing more currency and sending it around the world than they had gold in reserves because we were on the gold standard that was not allowed. France caught on. De Gaulle sent his military ships over to send the cash and bring the gold back to France. The United States government did not like to see their gold disappearing, so they closed the gold window. We went on the petrodollar standard, and OPEC was started. The Middle East, where most of our oil was coming from back then. And they said, look, we're going to make you guys fucking rich. And we're going to protect you with our military and our Navy, right? Air Force, Marines, Army, Navy, right? We'll do that for you. You give us oil at a discount. But you guys need to raise the price so you make more money. You make lots of money. We make lots of money. We control the price of oil with the US dollar. That's the petrodollar. We'll pretend like it's scarce to justify that increase in cost. We're going to make you super rich, but you will not take any other currency for your oil than the US dollar, US treasuries, US bonds. And the Middle East and OPEC agreed to that. Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, all of them. Iran, whoops, they lost control of Iran in the late 70s. Iraq, whoops, lost control of Iraq also a couple of times. So yes, they've said we're going to run out of oil. OPEC says we're cutting oil production because the cost is too low. So we're going to cut production to increase the cost, which you and I pay. Oil, we were told we're going to hit peak oil, the amount that can be produced around the world. And we're running out. Our wells are running dry. I believed that shit for a while. And then we started learning about abiotic oil. In other words, this well that was slowly drying up with oil, as soon as they stop pumping, slowly starts filling up. From where? How did the oil get down there in the first place? Well, they tried selling the world on the idea that it's fossil fuels. Meaning we were told that's dinosaurs. Fucking think about this like an intelligent adult. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs died. Dinosaurs fell in a big pile. Dinosaurs, instead of decomposing into a pile of smelly guts and blood and muscle that flies and other animals ate, somehow they magically turned into oil. Last time I was in the forest and I ran across a dead deer. I didn't see a single drop of oil come out of that deer. I did, however, smell a rotting, fetid corpse covered in maggots and flies, loudly fucking buzzing. Okay, no animal or dinosaur turns into oil, but that's what they told us, fossil fuels. So there's only so many dinosaurs that lived 65 million years ago. That was a fucking story and a half, huh? Where does oil come from if it's not dead dinosaurs turning from biological matter into, well, sulfur-laden, asphaltic goo, hydrocarbon? There's a better chance for a tree to turn into oil than a fucking living protein-created animal. Trees turn into coal, by the way, but that's another subject. How do we get all these huge coal fields? Where the fuck did the coal come from? Trees just kept falling and falling and falling, hundreds of feet thick in the ground, or was there something else going on this planet? That is one of those Alice in Wonderland tangential, way the fuck out there conversations. We don't have time for it today, but you are right, Broke Stacker. They want to make it seem scarce. So they say the wells are running dry. They want to control us because, as I said earlier, the cheaper oil is, the better our standard of living is. To drive, take a train, a boat, a plane, the cheaper this is, the more, the higher, the better, the gooder your standard of living is. Holy crap, I need a scotch. That's where we're at. They're making this shit up, and they want to justify their endless wars. Like the high oil price, which gives us a lower standard of living, wars cost a lot of money, which requires us to pay more taxes, more money to fund the wars, which means our standard of living drops as war continues and never ends and always keeps going, and we have to fucking pay for it with our lives, our blood, our fortune, our taxes, everything. So we're the last thing our government has any interest in making fucking happy. Period. Kill us in war, have us killed by fucking immigrants, tax the shit out of us, give us a standard of living, which is A-okay, but the cost of it is over fucking whelming. And they justify it all by making sure that, well, civilized nations like Canada, America, civilized areas like, well, Australia, Europe, we have the very people that fucking hate us and want to kill us on fundamental belief systems, aka religion. These fucking Muslims want to kill us all. And don't worry, the Israelis, these Zionists, also hate Christians, hate you and me, hate white people, hate our civilization, and they want us destroyed too. So the Zionists control our government and the banks and the financial system and the monetary system. And they tell the politicians, the governments of all the countries around the world, that they can control by bribing them or using extortion, drugs, prostitution, and pedophilia to control those governments. And they say, you bring in these stupid fucking Muslims. We own you. You're going to bring them in because you need diversity. And so our governments do. And we have to fucking pay for them and fight them and fuck with them while we're being destroyed and paying for endless wars and high oil when it should be extremely cheap. And we should all have a high standard of living and live safely in our own countries with our own cultures, with a high degree of education and safety and government that is held accountable, and they're not allowed to commit fraud, theft, embezzlement, crime, blackmail, extortion, or nothing. But here we are. Anyways, Broke Stacker, great topic. Great topic indeed. Chelsea and husband have done another $50 super chat donation through Venmo, which is found in the video description down below. I need to keep myself lubricated between the ears. So a $50 or more super chat donation buys me a single malt scotch and keeps me tuned up for the remainder of the show. And currently we've got just over 10 minutes. But as long as I've got super chats, and I do, I've got, let's see. I've got Big Dan the Man. I've got the Unprepared Mind back again, and Big Dan the Man again. Woo! Let's get to it. Chelsea and husband. I don't have the Prepared Mother or Man here, so I don't know how I'm going to. I have to go back into the comments and find what you have to say. For now, though, Semper Fi. God bless. Down the hatch. Prost. Salut. God bless. Okay. Let's get into it. We got Big Dan says, how close are you to $500 of super chats tonight? Let's stop at the last 15 minutes, brothers and sisters. Promote this awesome channel. I tell you what, Big Dan, thank you for all you do. I want to thank everybody for the great support. When I started this channel back in December of 2013, I had no idea that we could talk to hundreds of people every single day. I had no idea that I was going to be able to do live presentations with you guys and that anyone would give a shit about the topics. Turns out that within a few years, we rose from 500 and 1,000 and 2,000 subscribers to 80,000 subscribers. 80,000. Amazing. And then the powers that be in government, in academia, in the bureaucracy, in Israel, in the World Economic Forum, they didn't want us to continue to be able to reach everyone. So they started censoring us, removing videos, penalizing us, suspending us, and even removing our channels. It has been a struggle starting in 2018, just 5 years after I started the channel. By 2021, they completely dismantled the Prepared Mind. Oh, there's hundreds of others. Thousands of other channels were just absolutely removed. But I'm too fucking thick-headed, too stubborn, and too driven to give this up. And we've switched from advertising revenue, all the little commercials where we actually got paid, and that paid all of our bills, to where you guys now guerrilla fund us. In other words, your super chats, Big Dan, Chelsea, Chin Music, Robin, Bonnie Blue, pardon me, Cottage Farm, Darcy T, John, Big John, Dr. Tim, right there. There's so many of you that help in front of the scenes, behind the scenes, off to the side. Without you guys, it wouldn't happen. So thank you very much. Big Dan, thank you for this super chat. Let's step up here to the next one we've got. The Unprepared Mind back. He says, well, then it looks like we the people will have to do it if we can live through it, because that's what is starting to look like. You don't have to respond. It has been covered. I will respond very quickly, Mr. Unprepared Mind, and I hope you are prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. I hope you've got a plan. I hope you've got backup electricity. I hope you've got communications, meaning CB, walkie-talkies, ham radio, shortwave radio, even a world band radio, whatever it takes. All these things you can buy, by the way, at thepreparedmind.club. But yeah, super chat button up here is why you see comments on the screen down here. I could take comments from everyone all day long, 24/7, but I don't have that kind of time. But you guys that are supporting the channel, guerrilla funding us, I like to put you on the screen. Now, we the people are going to have to fix this fucking mess because the government is ignoring the rules of the game, the Constitution. The government is ruining our nation, not just America, but Canada, Australia, New Zealand, England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Austria, Switzerland, Hungary, Poland. I mean, the whole, everything, Japan too. We're all being fucked over, which means we're going to have to fix our countries ourselves. Me and you, we the people, because the police aren't doing it on the local level, nor the state level. The federal government, law enforcement, Department of Justice, Attorney General's office, FBI, they're not doing shit on the national level. Our military, and you guys know I'm a fucking jarhead. And I tell you what, Friday night, I spent some time with some fucking jarheads. Some new jarheads that are now part of my fucking circle. And they're not happy. And they've got nothing to fucking lose when it comes down to the shit hitting the fan, the rubber hitting the road, and fixing problems. The current, these are retired Marine, discharged Marine, right? They're no longer active duty. But you bet your fucking ass they're Marines. Big motherfuckers, too. Even though they looked at me and went, we're getting out of your fucking way, John. It was great meeting him. Fucking friends for life now. But here's the deal. Just like if I met you guys on the street, you'd know it, I'd know it, we'd all know it. But here's the deal. The active duty military under control of officer in charge at the unit level, command level, right, base level, whatever, right, all the way up to the fucking Pentagon. They have an opportunity to fix the problems. It's up to them to do so. And they're not doing it. We're not hearing about it. Why not? Are they being controlled? Are they being blackmailed? Are they being bribed? The answer? Yes. Somewhere up at the top in the Pentagon, they're being controlled. Otherwise, we could have the military go and arrest Congress, arrest the Senate, arrest the Supreme Court, arrest the fucking president for violating the very clear rules, limits, restrictions, and requirements of the U.S. Constitution. But if they don't, it's going to come down to you, me, us, fixing the fucking problems. And I'll leave it at that. I am not going to call for violence or revolution, but I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I know it. You know it. We all know it. All right. Let us continue if we shall. Thank you, Unprepared Mind. We go back to Big Dan, the man with a $50 super chat donation. And yeah, I'm telling you, we're going to get really close to that $500 bonus that I'm hoping to get. There's a private channel funder who says if we get to $500 tonight, there's going to be a special bonus. And I'm like, I don't know what the bonus is. We'll see. In any event, Big Dan, here's another scotch. Single malt. There was one time Dan goes, I don't think you're really drinking that stuff. So I lit some on fire. It was kind of weird. I had to turn all the lights out. See the flame coming off. It's about burnt my fucking fingers off. And luckily I blew it out before I poured it down my gullet. Woo! I poured that one tall, Dan. Anyways, thank you, sir. And he says, I hope this gets you closer to $500 tonight for your bonus. And your voice almost sounds normal. Yes, sir. Again, great job exposing the crud in this country and the world. Big Dan, without you and everyone else, it just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. So thank you to all of you. And not just you doing super chats, but everybody who watches the channel, shares the internet address, tells everyone, wake the hell up. Come learn, watch, share, listen, and spread the word to get prepared. If things were getting better, guess what? We wouldn't have to worry so much. If things were getting better, we could all relax. But things aren't getting better, are they? And so we need to get prepared. So Dan continues. He said, missed you last Sunday. Do my hand wash dishes Sunday afternoon while listening to the zoo. That's a good deal, man. I understand not everyone can be here every day, all the time. You know, between the two channels, Subscribestar, the preparedmind.club, the Facebook X, we have well over, in my estimation, well over 100,000 subscribers. So why do we only get several hundred on each broadcast? The reason is because YouTube lies. They've lied for at least 8 years that I've been watching, because we used to get the number on the screen would be thousands. And by the time the video was done, it would be many, many, many thousands of people watched all through the show at one point. And then within days, we'd be at 10, 20, 30, up to 50,000 people watching every fucking video. And now they claim we only get a couple of hundred when things are far worse. And the need to be prepared and understand what's going on is far more important, as we're all being screwed to death, living in fear. You're telling me there's less need to be prepared for shit hitting the fan, whether it's a cyber attack or power outage, or we're at war, or the money system is failing, or the political system is fucking imploding, exploding, and screwing us all over. You're telling me there's less need for the discussions we're having than we were having 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 13 years ago when I first started? You're telling me I know less about how to explain things than I did back then, when we're talking things about, well, you know, shit is hitting the fan, you better get some food, and then trying to explain why food was important? We've covered all that. So yes, I tell you, it's hard for everyone to be here at the same time, but I got to tell you, we all need to get prepared. Thank you, Big Dan the man. And now we got Blue Cord Devil checking in. And I'm probably going to run out of scotch if I'm not careful here. We're at the 2-hour mark, folks. And you guys have been taking good care of me, and I'm gonna be fucking sauced here. It's starting to catch up to me. I tried taking some bites of pizza, and anyways, Blue Cord Devil, $50 super chat donation, and there's another one. And Blue Cord has been a great subscriber, and here we are. Oh my God, I don't know. And Blue Cord writes, peace and prayers, John, Jolene, Ooman, and everyone else. Watch your six. Now, I agree with this part. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay armed. Keep your gas tank filled. Great to have you back to 100%. Blue cord, my body feels like 100%. My voice is like 90, 95%, but I'm good. But you saying stay calm. That is so key, folks, in any emergency situation. Whether it's a power outage, earthquake, tornado, hurricane, flood, illegals, BLM and Antifa marching down your street, stay calm. Remember, everyone else is freaking out. If you can stay calm, keep your head on your shoulders, you're going to be in way better shape and better able to make decisions. What helps us stay calm and make better decisions, especially in life-threatening situations, is to understand what's going on and what you can do about it. And that's what being prepared is the essence of. Keep your gas tank filled. I fill my gas tank every single fucking day on the Prepared Mind tank as I drive my truck all over the place, all over Florida, because I don't want to be caught. Power outage or fuel shortage, I'm fucked. I want to always be able to not just get back home, but be able to pull fuel from the tank and run the generator if needed, yada, yada, yada. Pow. Thank you, Blue Cord. Now, let's continue. We've got Courageous Cat with a $50 super chat donation. I'm going to go out with a bang. Apparently, I tried taking the cork out. It's already out. Okay. Courageous Cat, I think you guys are going to push me over the $500 mark. I think so. There we go. Courageous Cat, $50 super chat. In the comments, I haven't been able to keep up with that because the questions have just been absolutely crazy. And so thank you, Courageous Cat. Did the camera just go fuzzy? Or is that just my vision? I'm going to sleep like a baby. Fortunately, the same squirrel that brought me the snackies earlier is standing by, just off a screen with a 357 Magnum. So I'm well covered and protected, everyone. I haven't played this game this hard since, the movie Weekend at Bernie's. We invented a drinking game back then. And what happened is anytime they said the name Bernie in the movie Weekend at Bernie's, you'd have to take, we started with shots and then we went down to half shots and we couldn't finish the movie. In any event, I know it's silly. I know this isn't intellectually stimulating for you, but you guys are messing with me because Robin's in here now with another $50 super chat. And I think this one's going to hit the $500 mark. So Robin does a $50, which is one more shot of scotch. The bottle has just a little bit left. I need to go get another bottle for next Sunday. But she says, hoping you reach your goal. Thank you for being here with all of us. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, from the heart that has love, affection, and care, for everyone who loves freedom and liberty, who cares about their family, their children, their parents, who wants their culture and tradition to survive because it's what made us great, got us to where we're at, and it could provide us a beautiful, great future. All we have to do is defeat evil. Robin, thank you. Okay. Everyone, let's see where we're at. That's the unprepared mind there. Robin, thank you. Stephen Schaffers, you'll be all right as long as you have backup. I got backup. What is the prize for reaching the goal, Courageous Cat? I was told that I'll have to see if I get there, and then I'll find out. I have no idea Northern Hillbilly, okay, it got fuzzy. That was my vision. I gotcha. Okay, and Scotty says, I've been following your advice for over 15 years. And I've even bent some shopping carts at Walmart with precious metals. I understand what you're saying there, man. I'm going to save my liver, but I did take the shot. Everyone, thank you for everything. I will be back tomorrow. If you want to do live Monday through Friday, live answering questions and comments and thoughts on Monday through Friday, you just have to be a premium member at thepreparedmind.club, CLUB. You go to that, thepreparedmind.club. There's a premium button, costs $2 a month. That's it. $2 a month, or subscribestar.com, $2 a month. They all go to the same show, and you can talk to me and everyone Monday through Friday as well. Sunday's the zoo. And that's what this is, where we all get together live and we kind of we do what we do, and we get ready for the week, and things are going to go absolutely bonkers. Never apologize for being who you are, loving freedom, liberty, the Constitution, our country, your country, the foundation of civilization, law and order, decency. Never be ashamed of that. Don't apologize for it. Be who you are. Speak up. Use your free speech, whatever rights you have left if you're not in America. If you're in America, tell everyone to fuck off the moment they tell you to be quiet. Your right to speak is the same as our right to listen. I speak, you listen. You speak, I listen. We should all be able to do that. That's how we have options of thinking. Government doesn't like that. They want to tell us what to hear and what we can say. That way they control our minds, which controls our body, which enriches and empowers them. That's why the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, is so critical, and why they hate it so much, especially Israel, Europe, and Washington, D.C. They fucking hate it because they don't get to own you. If you got freedom of speech, and in America, we got our Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms and use them when government gets out of fucking control. And that's a warning that the government knows exists. God bless. Semper Fi means always faithful. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.